But here in the springtime, this is what we look forward to. The first of 6 European Le Mans Series races as the grand music pumps out in the background, and now the music around the racetrack is the sound of all of these Gibson engines firing into life. It's a good getaway from Francesco Simonazzi in the black and green car. He will hang on to pole position. Ginetta very, very wide there for DKR Engineering, and will have to take to the escape road, in fact. You can't rejoin right in the middle of turn 2. You have to wait till you've crossed past the 2 bollards there. But Simonazzi will have been thinking about that start of that race all night long. There is a crucial change for second position as Kuba Śmiechowski muscles his way by Jonas Reed to put the 43 into Europole competition car into second place.
Yeah, also running wide, I'll correct you, it's number 3, Orica, the Ginetta, the same colour scheme, but also running wide there was LMP2 Pro pole sitter. Giorgio Roda has rejoined and retained the lead in the class, it looks like, on our M Sports. Ligier falling back into the lead group of GT3s, but the LMGT3 lead has been taken at the start by Celia Martin in the Iron Dames car.
Yeah, so after Laurence Rour's radical move at the first couple of corners, he's actually come through the first split in 6th position, so there may be some questions about how he did do the rejoin there. Thank you for the nod about it being an LMP2 car rather than the new LMP3 Ginetta, which we will catch our sights on in a moment or two. One car that's falling a long way further back is Jacek Zielonka, who has not completed, well, has now gone through the second split, but a lot of cars have gone through, in fact all of them, the GTs as well, as we cross the line to complete the first lap. And Francesco Simonazzi leads for Duquesne team ahead of Kuba Śmiechowski, and here is the Zielonka Team Virage LMP3 car, smoke trailing from that, where it was very busy. So
rear right, either suspension damage or a puncture. Meantime, in LMP3, where there appears to have been a little bit of argy-bargy, the DKR Ginetta up to 6th and 10th at the start, so a fine start there from Antiramo in that number 4 Ginetta. Pretty clean. Into pit lane comes the number 18 Virage car. So look and see just how quickly they can turn that car around. Pretty clean at the start, the head of the pack there. But boy, did it get busy behind them.
Just creeping through shot, the number 12 WTM by Rinaldi Racing Duquesne, which has Torsten Kratz at the controls. He's now into the lead of LMP3. We're focusing on the second place fight because it's closer between Fabien Michal and Paul Lancher. So Lancher started the race on pole position. He's back to 3rd now in that grey with blue mirrors, number 17. There he is, heading through shot after good work yesterday from Adrian Clomanil to put the car on pole position. But Torsten Kratz is one of the quickest bronze drivers in the LMP3 field, so no surprise to see him there. LMGT3 is led by Celia Martin in the pink and white Iron Dames Porsche. She's got ahead of Martin Berry in his Iron Lynx Mercedes, and a grin from Michelle Gatting just as we cut away from her, in fact, but very happy with where her car is at the moment.
Yep, it's fastest lap of the race too. Laurence Hurt now up to 4th place in the charging DKR Engineering number 3 car, also of course leading LMP2 Pro-Am. So for the Iron Dames, fine start. Great race yesterday until disaster in the Michelin Le Mans Cup. I have to tell you that Marta Garcia is fine after what was a horrifying incident, tagged by another car into the wall. They'll be looking for a better end to their race, but they've certainly had a great start to it with Celia Martin, the new face in the bronze seat at Iron Dames in the European Le Mans Series. D-Station Racing moves over to the European Le Mans Series here. Battle here between Alex Malikian and Paul Lafargue. Battle for 11th. Would add, by the way, that aside from Laurence Hurt, of course, is the pro driver starting the LMP2 Pro car, the lead amongst the bronzes has been taken by Rodrigo Sales ahead of Giorgio Roda and PJ Hyatt. So it's been a good start from the TDS Racing man of the 29, to the 15th place.
So Malikian versus Lafargue, very close. A bit further up the road for 9th and 10th. Ollie Gray's reeling in Pedro Perino. So Perino in the green-fronted into Europole competition car now under pressure from the Mark VDS, or the VDS Panis Racing entry. 9th, well, 10th place up for grabs, therefore. There's also not much of a gap between Cemboluk Bashi, who's had to do the hard work towards the back of the grid, and Ryan Cullen. That's for 8th and 9th.
Great battle here for the lead of the bronze section, if you like, of LMP2 Pro Am. As Rodrigo Sales holds off Giorgio Roda, PJ Hyatt in close contention. DK Engineering's Lawrence Hurt up to 2nd overall, but the team manager of DK Engineering has been asked to come to race control immediately. I think that's unlikely to be for congratulation about the move at the start of the race. A real mixed bag of established and emerging talents, which makes it all the better.
Now this is difficult, and there may be an opportunity for Jonas Reed to slice his way by Kuba Śmiechowski. There was nowhere really for the Polish driver to go there, and if Reed can stick with that outside line, this is what I was talking about, from 4 to 5. You can leave 4 on the outside line, that delivers you directly into the apex at 5, and he will get the place because of it. So Jonas Reed in the paler yellow car, the Iron Lynx Proton combination, and Jonas Reed had read that perfectly. A great bit of racecraft from the young German to pick off Kuba Śmiechowski, who slips back a further place in LMP2. Side-by-side GT cars as well, with the 51 Ferrari on the inside line at turn 10. This is a battle for 11th.
That's Charlie Samari, isn't it? And Michael Birch in the United Autosports McLaren. And this is another phase, if you're new to sports car racing, this is what causes a lot of the excitement. It's not just about the race, because it's 4 races at once on the same track, and you've got to maintain. Johan Zarco, MotoGP, says hi. Bit of a Danny Ricciardo lookalike, isn't he? Is this part of a bit of a new era for the bronzes in the European Le Mans Series? Celia Martin did a fine job in qualifying, bettered by Martin Berry, but they're having a fine battle here. The bronze stakes in GT racing. We've had all sorts of duels, most famously perhaps Sarah Bovey and Ben Keating in the FIA World Endurance Championship. But this has got potential with this pair duking it out. Meantime, more duking out.
Śmiechowski's lost another place to Manuel Espirito Santo in the grey and blue car, and now having a long look at the inside is Oliver Gray in the VDS Panis racing car. So Kuba Śmiechowski, having shot off very well indeed, is now desperately trying to cling on to these places for fear of tumbling towards the base of the top 10. There's another investigation underway concerning an LMP3 car. This is the 31 Racing Spirit of Le Mans, which is being driven by Jacques Wolf, and his disrespect of the race director instructions, probably at turn 1, I'm going to guess, as now it's almost door-banging stuff between Francesco Simonazzi and Jonas Reed. Once more, Jonas Reed getting the better run on the Duquesne car. This is a similar overtake to Laurence Hoare a few laps ago, and great car placement there from Iron Lynx Proton's young pilot. He makes sure that the Duquesne car cannot turn in and gets the place. Again, that might be for the overall lead, depending on what happens with the number 3 car.
Yeah, 6.4 seconds up the road now, Lawrence Hurd. Good move there from Jonas Reed. Growing in confidence, growing in ability. Several years in now to his LMP career. They've taken an overall race win last season, this squad, as the 31 Racing Spirit Le Mans car just bails out of challenging the LMP2s, lets them through. Just drives clean off the track in doing so. Side by side, might well have been a kiss there between the Vector Sport car and the 28 Lead Exports.
So that was Ryan Cullen and Paul Lafargue overlapping, and Paul Lafargue didn't want to go to the escape road if he could help it.
I'm getting pretty darn old.
Now, not the ideal route from turn 12 to 13 for the number 35 LMP3 car from Ultimate. That was Louis Rossi chattering the teeth because of a couple of Michelin tyres working their way through the gravel trap. He did well to hang on to that and not spin at turn 13. Motor racing fans know all about how good this championship is getting. Jonas Reed, this was his move for the lead a few laps ago, and Simonazzi kind of pushed that as much as he was daring to do. He inched his way to the right to try and stop the progress of the number 9 car, but ultimately that was going to result in a big crash if he didn't relent. And the number 9 car got that overlap that was required, manifesting into turn 1 with a complete overtake. And to the lead of LMP2, second place overall, because remember our overall leader is from the LMP2 Pro Am class, now 10 seconds clear, Laurence Roy. But I think there are big question marks about how many cars he overtook before the start line. Paul Lafargue's now off the road in the 28 E-Deck Sport car, and that was coming through turn 10 and couldn't get the car lined up then at 11 and into 12, Graham.
No, he couldn't. We're going to have a special guest shortly once we've managed to get a near 6-foot-plus man into our 3-foot room. But we'll see how that one goes in just a short while and hear his impressions of the opening bars of this symphony. Off goes Paul Lafargue, just did not get it turned in. He's managed to get it through the gravel trap, and I think we'll get back on to the grey stuff. It's been fast and furious, but I don't see how that, Graham. Precious little by the way of incidents.
Kessel Racing's highlighter yellow car, and right on his tail is Custodio Toledo's Richard Mille AF Corsa car, number 57. Toledo to the central line, the approach to turn 1, but there's no way by there. And now more difficulties at turn 10, unless that's a delayed message, because we're not getting the yellow flag segment on our track map.
No, it is there. It is the Racing Spirit Le Mans car, the 31 Ligier. As we see a car spinning off, it's a great time to introduce. We love to have the heritage viewpoint on this modern motorsport. I'm delighted to welcome, you might remember him from many years ago, Oliver Gavin joins us, I think, for your first stint in the ELMS commentary booth. And that's a touch, Jonas Reed on Hiroshi Kazumi in the TF Sports Corvette.
TF Sport have had a bit of a battle here this weekend, haven't they, with things, and it just seems that the car's just not in the zone. I think they're battling a little bit with some BOP, but yeah, it does seem tough for them. They had an incident, didn't they? I think it was last week at Spa in testing, and
destroyed a car.
Yes, which Tom was telling me all about on the grid.
Yellows at turn 11 now removed, and that's for the 23 McLaren. Michael Birch has had a bit of a rotation. Covers back to,
and here he's run wide, and then he's spun, I think, as he's come back on, lost the rear, dirt on the tyres, and yeah, it's just managed to gather it up nicely and got going. But I think in getting going, has he made I
think he did
another incident.
He had another half spin, I think. It's going to be a central driving position for the new LMP2.
I think for drivers that's fantastic. Oh, it's Europol car just getting very loose there, just had a little touch. Unloaded the rear, and he did very well to hang on to it.
Was that the Vector Sport LMP2 around the outside?
Like the Vector Sport LMP2,
yeah. Tell whether there was contact or not. I thought
a tiny bit, I think.
Just on the ragged edge.
Yeah, just unloaded it. But
Ryan and Cooper, by the look of things.
Car, and he's 6.4 up the road now. He's doing a fantastic job.
Doing a great job with it, and second year in the championship for Ollie Gray.
Potential lead change in LMP3 around the outside, and this has been bubbling for a good few laps now. Paul Lanchet, though, dropped a couple of Michelins in the gravel between 12 and 13, but that didn't relent or didn't affect his pace. And, well, has the WTM car started to run out of tyres a little bit, because Torsten Kratz headed off like a scolded cat at the start of the race? Is he now paying for that performance? Because it seems to be a more measured approach from CLX Motorsport. They were the pole-sitting car, so we know it's a quick car, but not in the hands of Paul Lanchet, who's been doing a cracking job so far.
Yes. This is the change up the inside for the outside for the Ligier. Plenty of grip available there. Good move. Lead changes, just dips a couple of tyres into the gravel, but no harm there.
Now, I would imagine with no limitation on tyres in the GT class, everyone's going to be getting a new set of Goodyear Eagles. It's been the best part of an hour. This early on in the race, you're not looking to save that much time. I think, there's now an issue for the 8-team Virage LMP3 car. Is that still Zielonka driving? Yes,
on his way out. I wonder if there's a bit of finger trouble there. That is on the outlap for the number 8 car.
He's stuck in pit lane speed limit mode. I mean, there's... Oh, no, he's had a spin.
No, worse than that.
Yeah. He's had a spin. And they're just getting everything up to temp.
That looked to me like there was a tyre awry at the left rear of that car.
Yeah,
so cause or effect.
Has he had contact with this car?
Well, the car going through turn 9 with him,
dear me, has he?
was the 22 United Autosports car.
Yeah.
But there's no tyre left on that rear left corner now.
I think that's come from the contact, the puncher. I don't think the tyre's gone down and it's caused the damage to the bodywork. I think that's through contact.
Well, it's not going to be a winning start for Team Virage to their 2025 ELMS campaign. When you get that car back,
they had a lot of people on the grid, a lot of guests here this weekend. Virage.
They've done a great job in this ladder system. Ligier European Series, multiple winners there. Great show from them in the Michelin Le Mans Cup, and he's desperately trying to get that car back.
Easy now. It's just be smart.
And hearing that from Steph Wentworth on pit lane that we've got the 43 into Europol car in the garage with another electrical problem.
So another LMP2 car that will not restart after the engine was shut off in order for the car to be refueled. And is that, again, a heat problem? I mean, ambient temperature is not ridiculously high, but when you're in the direct sunlight, it can play havoc with electrical wiring system.
Both of the legality panels on the rear of the 31 Racing Spirit Le Mans Ligier have come astray as well. So not a great couple of laps for a couple of the Ligier runners. That is the stricken Team Virage car.
Yeah, I think it's going to have to go back in the box.
It is.
We don't know the age of that particular tyre, but it was on an outlap, so I would imagine, and the tyres in LMP3 you can carry across from the free practice sessions. You give them 4 sets for the whole weekend, basically.
We're going to fix it in the pit lane.
Well, that's a phenomenal effort, if that is going to be possible. 31 LMP3 car, which just flashed up on our screen, actually, with a potential message. Anyway, there was nearly contact there with the 88 turn 10, so a couple of LMP3 cars getting together at the end of the back straight.
Lawrence Hurd, by the way, up into 8th position overall as he continues his climb up. Behind him it is still Giorgio Roda and PJ Hyatt, but PJ Hyatt has closed what was an over 20-second gap to 12-13 seconds, so it's beginning to swing back the way at the moment to the AO by TF attack.
Yeah,
couldn't be done on pit lane. It's trouble 4. Was that the GR Racing car?
Or was it the McLaren?
That was obviously what the double yellows are for. Just missed by the AMG, by the way. Just having a look at the relative lap times there. Was that the AMG? It was not.
Well, both GR Racing.
She was very gracious at the start of the weekend, saying, I don't know much about sports car racing. She has raced at the Nürburgring 24 hours in GT cars, so has some knowledge of multi-class racing.
She's well, indeed, and in GT4, the British GT Championship. I think she was a champion, was she not?
Yeah. So it's coming back to sports car racing, but it's great to have her here.
Oh, yes, indeed.
That gives you an idea of how dirty it is offline, though, as well. The amount of dust that's being kicked up.
Yeah, that's maybe one of the things that Jamie was maybe looking at. It was like, okay, that's what can happen here. We've got an LMP3 P2 and a GT car all into the same high-speed corner together, and how the mix of performance works through the corner. That's tough. That's tough to try and sort of get into your own head when you're out there on track. And if you've got some experience of it, it certainly helps to just guide you through those moments.
Over an hour and a quarter into this race, we still have, 9 cars within a single minute for what has been, with the exception of a few local yellows, full green to this point.
Came out still straight, but he had an LMP2 Pro-Am car to his left, one to his right. They were trying to do battle amongst themselves. Alessio Rivera in the 83 is second in that division. Don't forget about Laurence Hoare, leading the division in 5th position overall, but that's because we've not seen any bronze time yet in car number 3.
Yeah, I think he's going to be very shortly on pit lane, isn't it? And that'll be his time up. I mean, he's been spectacular. Lawrence has been, and it always is.
This is frustrating though for CLX, because yes, they've done the long stop. They wanted to put the car back into clear air, and it's now having their race affected by a car that's not utilising the same type of strategy. That was Dane Cameron's manoeuvre from the outside on René Binder.
Yeah, he'd kind of like set him up as he came through the long right-hander, and he was like not telegraphing it, but going, "I know where I'm going here," and he knew the performance he had underneath him. He just was clinical in his execution, doing it in the way that you are. Your signal. Oh, is that the JFW car's gone off?
56 car, and that's car off and into the gravel in the hands of Scott Noble. What happened here?
Scott had an incident.
He was already backwards because he came into shots.
He was alone. And
that's going to be tricky to retrieve, because I think it's too deep in the stones now for Scott to get the car out of there, and might require the first of those things that we were. Well, I did mention, but I can't be to blame now, because that was got to be at least 20 minutes ago.
No, you said it first.
It's been a while for the team to tell Scott that he needs to do that. That's what you said, Johnny.
It's actually going to be a virtual safety car, so that means we get a safety car automatically at the end of it.
30 seconds to go virtual safety car.
The pit lane is not going to get closed
the magic
until
2 laps now. Yeah.
Indeed, the VSC will be 2 laps for
20
free
seconds
pit
to
stops.
virtual safety car.
And then we bunch the field up again, so it's almost like the American style of doing it, but in reverse.
We are going virtual safety car in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Virtual safety car. We are under virtual safety car.
Well, Dane Cameron, having confidence that his countdown, either directly from Eduardo or from his engineer, was spot on there.
There is a little bit of a delay there, but yeah, I think he would have been just about okay.
What we're watching here. Can he hit it? Don't think he...
No contact, I don't think.
Needed a quarter of a tank or so, as is the case with the GTs. They took that opportunity under the virtual safety car. The timing of this was perfect for LMP2s.
No overtaking before the line. No overtaking before the line.
So they're all set for the next segment of this opening race of the European Le Mans Series, live from the circuit to Barcelona, Catalunya, and already the TDS car looking for a way by as it heads down towards the first corner.
That's the first lapped car, by the way. This is Clement Novalak, lapping himself from the class leader, trying to do the same as the Ducati team car gets shuffled back down the order. Busy coming through turns 1, 2, 3. Clement Novalak is on a bit of a charge here to try to catch the overall leader and unlap himself, put himself on the lead lap overall.
Yeah, so maybe some radio messages going in the direction of Enzo Fittipaldi to say, don't worry too much about that 29 car. You can let Novalak through if it's going to be less of a distraction for you. Won't affect the race leader, CLX Motorsport. Just a lap back for car 29. Meanwhile, some dicing between Pro-Am and LMP2 cars, with the 77 also a lap off the pace. The E-Deck car working its way through the right-hander there at turn 9.
That's the 18.
18, yeah.
That car is 3rd place overall, so it's a mix here of laps. That all happened in the pit stop shuffle. LMP2 ground cars and the leading group of LMP2s overall. 34 car there is 4th place overall, looking now to get past the 77. Edgy moments here. There's our previous leader, by the way, the 48 VDS Panis racing car, now in the hands of Esteban Massol, one of the emerging talents in sports car racing, eyed very comprehensively indeed by Toyota.
So Danny Juncadella driving the number 18 E-Deck Sport from Jean-Baptiste Simonauer in the 34 green-fronted into Europole competition. They are 3rd and 4th in the overall standings. 83 is Alessio Rivera. He's being chased by Dane Cameron in Spike, the Purple Dragon.
That's for second in
second,
LMP2 Pro-Am,
yes.
with Giorgio Colavos still way up the road. But the gap, by the way, between Rivera and Giorgio Colavos, just 13 seconds now. With that safety car, that was almost side-to-side contact between the 30 and the 48. The 48, I think, is going to retake that position, does so, and moves up now into 5th place. Esteban Masson on Roy Nissany.
Lights flashing from both the 48 VDS Panis car and the Duquesne. So the Duquesne car driven by Roy Nissany, as you've said. Esteban Masson marginally ahead as they go through that split. No, he's more than marginally ahead. He's got sufficiently past, and they're side by side leaving turn 10 and into 12. This was a bit dicey a moment or two ago as well.
Overall.
Was that not the 28 getting through?
Yes, it's the 18 going through with Danny Incadella for second overall.
He has got through now, but that was the 28 unlapping himself on Colavos initially. But yes, Juncadella over the line and in front, and now Colavos in the orange, white and blue car under pressure from Jean-Baptiste Simonauer in the green and yellow of Inter-Europol competition. So down the inside will attempt to go Roy Nissany in the black and green.
Still hasn't managed it.
Duquesne, and in behind the yellow front of Lorenzo Fluxer. No, it's not Fluxer, but Fluxer's not that far away. So the 43 is laps down as well, many laps down, isn't it, with Mick Yellerly now at the wheel. But that's the car that wouldn't, the other car that wouldn't restart.
Correct.
During the first pit stop.
That's exactly right.
So it's going to be fast in the hands of Nick, but I'm afraid they have only completed 52 laps compared to the overall leaders. 60 laps now. Enzo Fittipaldi's just ticked off.
Class 74, by the way, Kessel Racing, that car in the hands still of Andrew Gilbert, under investigation, track limits, and that's already had a drive-through. So that could be a stop-go coming their way. It's going to cramp their style. The physical gap, by the way, in LMP2 Pro-Am, it's now, what is that, 6 places, but only 3 seconds. So this gaggle of cars that are built up behind Georgios Colavos gradually making their way through, and it's shuffling. Dane Cameron now ahead of Alessio Rivera through to get into contention with the class lead as there's a big battle. United Autosports and Algarve Pro Racing. It's the Algarve Pro car 25 makes its way between the two United Orecas, all 3 of which are looking to try to get past Colavos for what is now 7th place. The first of those United cars is the LMP2 Pro car, on board now with 2 Ferraris side by side. What's going to occur here?
So 3 Ferraris in very close contention. The third of those is the 74 Kessel example, being driven still by Andrew Gilbert. We're beyond the hour and a half he needed to do, but again, it's trying to reach a convenient time to get Andrew out without disrupting the flow of strategy.
Jarvis up the inside, there was contact there with the number 3, that is the United car 21, unlapping themselves from the number 3 car. Next up is the 25, this is for overall position, Lorenzo Fluxer. He goes up the inside without any contact or dramas at all, and all of this is drawing Dane Cameron closer and closer to the class lead. That was up the inside onto the grass a little bit from Ollie Jarvis. Passes made, but only after a kiss on the side. Through goes 22 as well.
So Colavos, not the best run through turn 3. That automatically put him on the back foot. But remember, we're talking a platinum racer up against a bronze here. So ultimately, the overtake is going to happen. It just depends how quickly. And Cameron treated that pretty well. Damage to the rear of the number 31 LMP3 car, which is the Racing Spirit of Le Mans machine, started by Jacques Wolf. It's now got Jean-Ludovic Foubert at the wheel. That car's already had one black and orange mechanical warning flag to say repair the car as soon as possible. And you normally get a limited number of laps, and now a flurry of stop-go penalties. One for the number 8 Team Virage Ligier, which sadly is not in the fight, but the other one is the 74 GT Ferrari of Andrew Gilbert, which has been right in the middle of the action.
It's the second penalty for both cars the track limits, which is why it's now a stop-go and not a drive-through. So what happens with these is those penalties escalate if you don't take note of the instructions from race control.
6th place to 9th.
And did that, I'm afraid, all by himself. Was lucky not to be collected by either of the other. Very lucky to be not to be collected by either of the other Ferraris in close contention.
How about the reactions from Charlie Samani?
Yeah, Charlie Samani did well. The 74 car took advantage.
This and direct some light on the race surface. Really does
Big hit! Big hit on the front of the number 12 car, and that was enough to unsettle the 34.
That's Kratz trying to get in the pit lane.
Yep, Simonauer did mightily well to gather that back up, and I think he's going to recover to the track.
Ideally, he'd be wanting to pit, I think. But
Yeah.
you just can't, so it's another 4.6 kilometres to try and assess the car. But I think some confusion there, because Kratz did come into the pits. I don't think it's because he ended up...
He's got coolant streaming out to the left-hand side of the car as well.
So Kratz caught on the wrong side of a quicker car, wanting to access the pit lane. And that might have been a point where you say, I just can't get in.
Now, if we get another look at the interior pod car, you will see there is coolant pouring out to the left-hand side pod of that car.
Well, what can he do? He's
Nothing.
gone past the pit road entry through no fault of his own. You know, the car's half spinning. But will the coolant be enough in that car to keep the car going for another lap?
It was a lot of coolant coming out of the car.
But rarely do we actually see that. I don't know whether Kratz did much wrong there. I suppose you've got to show your intentions that, you know, I want to get to the pit lane, don't undertake me. He wanted the LMP2 really to be going around the outside line, but it's a quicker car, it can kind of go where it likes. And Kratz was trying to get on the brakes or at least get off the throttle to allow the quicker car by, but he still turned in. It's questionable whether he should have just stayed out and done another lap, but did he have the fuel to do that?
Further problems for the McLaren. Well, that is still Michael Birch. What happened here? And was that by himself? There were two other cars in close contention with him,
including the 9 Iron Lynx Proton.
Looked to me like, was it the 51 Ferrari as well, I think.
Charlie Samani's zebra-like livery with a silver backing.
Unusually, LMP3 car makes its way to the pit lane without being spooked by a P2 this time.
That is a rare thing.
The last 5 minutes.
They tend to come in threes, don't they? By the way, the P2 car that very nearly glanced the side of the Vector Sport number 10 was Stefan Tribordini in his M Racing number 68. Surely it's time for Tribordini now to get some rest.
Strategic chess of LMP3 still to wind out side by side here between the 10 and the 25. This is for 5th place. Vlad Lomko and Lorenzo Fluxa. At the moment, Vector Sport retain their place. Algar Pro wants it. Vlad Lomko for Vector Sports. This is Alessio Rivera, lead of the race at the moment in LMP2 Pro Am. And this is the 2nd place car in LMP3, side by side with its sister car, the 37. CLX Pure Motorsport car in LMP2. Close-knit stuff in every class, nothing settled, not by a very long chalk indeed, in any of these classes, and still, Johnny Palmer, better part of an hour and 50 minutes remain.
Yeah, so lots more driver changes to come as well. Obviously, this is the crucial middle stints where a race can swing one way or the other. It's generally all stacked up for that final 40-minute stint within LMP2, where you have potentially held back a set of tyres, maybe for the final double stint actually, so with an hour and 20, if they start to back time things, that's when the real move to a good finishing position will begin. But it also depends on your journey through the race, because to a certain extent we had that reset when the virtual safety car came out, just in the lead up to the safety car itself. So LMP2s are going to be on a reasonably even keel, but there's a bit more complication when it comes to LMP3 and those GT cars. Battle for second is on between Danny Juncadella and Esteban Masson.
Yeah, cracking battle. It's been coming together, and it's just in front as well. There's the number 99 car not long out of pits in the hands of Dane Cameron. We'll tell you that astoundingly, under investigation for track limits, car 74 already has had a drive-through and a stop and go. And I think there might be more dramas to come. Andrew Gilbert's just got out of that car. We've got happening behind here. This is side by side between the 12 and the 15. It's the LMP Sports, the championship defending team, of course, from LMP Sports, and the number 12 from WTM by Rinaldi. Still underway, this battle between the 18 and the 48.
Enzo Fittipaldi leading the way, but Danny Juncadella has pitted at the end of lap 79, so that will open the door for Roy Nissany and Lorenzo Fluxa. But what happened to, it was Juncadella and who was right behind him?
Masson has just been in and out, so there has been a bit of range of pit stops, and they still are underway. Trouble for the Aston Martin, spun around at turn 10 for the Racing Spirit Le Mans car. Bastar, it is was 6th in GT3 before that incident, but I fear he's going to be dropping a little down the order. One of two drivers that switched from D-Station Racing and the FIA World Endurance Championship to the European Le Mans Series. What happened here? By himself, I'm afraid. He was in close company with two cars around him, but it was just the rear end that got away from him. That'd be the end of his time. The number 60 and the number 63 here. This is the battle for second. Morgan Hannafin troubling Matteo Cressoni for second place in this LMGT3 class. The AMG that was second for so long in the hands of Martin Berry is about to reclaim that position, and does so neatly done by Morgan Hannafin up the inside. He's clearly enjoying his new steed. Alex Quinn, another of the young drivers on. That was a bit of a brush left rear to front right. The EDEC Sport car on the Inter-Europol car, but doesn't look as if any harm done. 34 car though runs wide and through goes the 28 from EDEC Sports. That is the recovering 28 for Luc Chatin.
And then that's a 40-minute stint, which will leave maybe a 20 or 15-minute stint at the end. So they'll need to come in for a little bit of fuel. The closer you can pit to that checkered flag, the better, of course. And that is assuming that we are able to stay green throughout as well. But already the back timing will have commenced by so many engineers up and down the order. Now the team manager for the United car, number 20.
That's the McLaren. That's the McLaren.
Yeah. So the McLaren GT car is being summoned to the stewards.
Side by side, and the position goes the way of the 83 car, second place in LMP2 Pro Am. A little earlier in the weekend, it's that moment, the first race weekend of the year, when you open up your mental pencil box and realise you've forgotten the ruler. And it does feel like that as you try to work out where the changes are. There's surely not room to thread the needle there.
And thankfully thought again about it, but now using plenty of the pit road exit, and the 25 car down the inside of Lorenzo Fluxa on Gregoire Sauce, and made that move stick. The question is, as it jinked out to the right, did it breach the track limits in any way? Some of the pit lane exit road is fine as long as you're straddling that line. The move had already been made at this point, but 25 ahead of 22.
CLX and VDS Panis back up to second place. David Leach enjoying that. The technical director at Algar Pro Racing. Yes, indeed. And it's the number 12 car off and into the gravel. Now that's way in the gravel, and I think that, Johnny Palmer, might well need intervention.
So after a collision with the 34 where the P2 car ended up in the gravel, many laps later the 12 cars found the gravel. Now, are we going to go full course yellow at any point? It's important to make an overtake as quickly as possible. This is Juncadella up against Masson.
He's done it, he's through.
So back in front of the Frenchman goes the Spaniard at his home race, of course. Juncadella for EDEC Sport, been setting that one up for a little while now.
Well, What a result this would be. Neatly done.
So much to the delight of Jamie Chadwick, who started this car.
That's the end of the incident that saw the number 12 car off. There wasn't another car in close contention there. Didn't see the start of any incident.
But it's going to be a virtual safety car in order to deal with the number 12 car. That means everything's going to be concertinaed again.
15 seconds to full course 2 virtual safety car.
And this means that the
9,
12-second
8,
advantage that
7,
Fittipaldi has
6,
will be gone in
5,
a flash.
4, 3, 2, 1. Virtual safety car. We are under virtual safety car.
So as we stand at the moment, the top 8 overall are all LMP2 class cars. Those advantages gathered, what is it, 40 seconds between the lot of them, will come down to virtually nothing. The car that's going to hurt, I think, is the previous leader in LMP2 Pro-Am, because they've just pitted under green.
He'll have company with young Mathis Jobert, the star from Porsche One Make Racing, and from France on his tail in the number 18 EDEX Sport car. They're greeted by the giant LED green number panels, or light panels, to say back to racing, guys and girls. And it is a good getaway, a fairly even getaway from the top few. There's just a little look up the inside from Jobert just to say, I'm here, Pipo, and I'm wanting to get by as quickly as I can.
Yeah, young gun versus old dog. And Pipo, very quick, very difficult to catch, even more difficult to pass. And behind him, we've got the hot shot that is Charles Malaysia as well. Thierry Pourchaire in the 25 car, the Alga Pro, so the Interior car laps down, allowed him to pass through. So we've got the top 4 now in very close contention. That's just LMP2. Keep an eye behind on what's going on with the other classes. Keep you posted on that one as well. At the moment, Mathieu Vazevière does have space ahead of the A-by-TF car. That gap, about 15 seconds. Louis Delatraz to Mathieu Vazevière with traffic. And, Matthias Besch behind Louis Delatraz. This is the battle for second, with a mixed bag of cars in front. All sorts of opportunities and options here. That's side by side. The 18 and the 48. Carl Malaysia was on the outside there of Mathis Jobert. Didn't make it stick there, and that has put Charles Malaysia a little bit further back and into the clutches of Thierry Pourchaire. Also in this fight, Richard de Geras closing. It's now a 5-car lead battle. 20 Algarve Pro Racing car of Alex Quinn.
Some absolutely ridiculous driving here. Look at the queue, and that was Jobert getting underneath Pipo Derani for the race lead. Jobert also then leapfrogged the 51 Ferrari, and what didn't happen then was Derani got held up. He couldn't get underneath the 51 Ferrari by the time they got to turn 14.
Meantime, back in LMP2 Pro-Am, side by side by side by side. 4 of them pretty much in the same corner at the same time. Everything up for grabs in the lower places here.
Well, Ben Hanley in the middle, that's an LMP2 car, but he's battling with a load of Pro-Am entries.
Yeah, it is Ben Fiscal, Alex Quinn and Matthias Besch.
So sky blue and black nose for the APR car, that is in the hands of Alex Quinn. And then the United car of Ben Hanley with the red roof visor, or windscreen visor. And in behind him, as you say, Matthias Besch for TDS Racing. Now exiting turns 7 and 8. And there a glimpse of the Ben Fiscal driven Proton competition car on course at this stage for a podium. But it's Alex Quinn who's now got free of the darker blue car of Ben Hanley, who is threatening to take that podium result away from the Dutchman Fiscal.
Yeah, Alex Quinn was mega in the Asian Le Mans Series this winter and seems to be carrying that form over. But we're going to focus for the moment on the battle for the overall podium. Jobert has put 2 seconds on Pipo Derani since going by.
Vaxivière almost alongside, now he dive bombs Milesi, and that was a classic dummy to the outside, then to the inside. It's not often you catch Charles Milesi napping, but fellow Frenchman Mathieu Vaxivière There is the LMP3 car that I was talking about. It's at the 11 for Ian Aguilera. Euro International, which was, well, is now in 7th. It's lost places because of that. It is the number 11 car. And no rear right tyre on that car anymore, I fear. So how are they going to recover that? Yellow's at turn 4 where it's come to rest.
43 minutes remain. Rest change. He'd export lead the race, the number 18 car, Matthias Joubert.
Team manager, car 11, tell your driver to stay in the car. Team manager, car 11, tell your driver to stay in the car, please.
Just race control trying to get the message to Ian Aguilera. Happened here. Smoking, and then.
Well, it continued to smoke all the way down the start-finish straight into turns 1, 2 and 3, and has stopped
Prepare
at 4.
for full course yellow at 1518 and 45 seconds. Prepare to go full course yellow in roughly 40 seconds.
CLX Pure Racing heading for pit lane right now. Tom Blomqvist.
And the problem
30
is
seconds to full course yellow.
that the pit lane is closed from the prepare for FCY, not at the point the FCY kicks in.
I think he was already in.
Okay.
Yeah.
20 seconds to full course yellow.
I hope so too.
But it does mean, by the way, that none of the leading group can make it because they're not
We are
far
going
enough
full
around.
course yellow in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Full course yellow. We are under full course yellow.
Now, the stops is always going to be a tight one coming into turn 10 as well, and it clearly happened in varying degrees.
At T4, bear left. At T4, bear left.
We're going to go out of the full course yellow. Here's the
full
countdown.
course yellow removed. Thank you very much.
And Vaxivier.
He's got him. I think he's got him.
Down the inside of Dirani. And he is through. So there goes the LMP2 Pro-Am leader up to 2nd overall, and Milesi fancying his chances on getting the position back from Dirani as well. Down towards the first corner, Dirani though getting a good run on Vaxivier, trying to get the place back again. Can Dirani get the 47 car stopped? Yes, just about. Obviously tyre temperature has dipped significantly as well because of the slower speeds, so take a time to just nurse those back as well. Nothing like coming out of the pits on stone cold tyres, but something to be wary of nevertheless.
So lead, Matthias Joubert 5 seconds up the road in the 18 Edex Sports. Orica from Mathieu Vaxivier now up into a fine 2nd position. Trouble for the number 30 car. I think that's maybe done. We've got 27 undergoing service at the moment. That is the Nielsen Racing Pro-Am car. Also the 77 Proton, the 21 United on pit lane for what will be their final stops.
So they were all able to hang on until the end of the full course yellow. If they had pitted during the FCY, it could only have been for 5 seconds of fuel, and then they would need to have completed their pit stop as soon as we went green. So thankfully most of those were able to, or had enough fuel up their sleeve to push on till the green flag segment. Dirani will be kicking himself to get allowed Vaxivier through, but he did at least keep behind him Charles Milesi, and Vaxivier was looking like the quicker driver anyway. Look at him heading off into the sunset in that 2nd position now, and easily the leader in LMP2 Pro-Am.
Stellar stint from Mathieu Vaxivier.
First car into turn 10 in this long line is the 77 of Bent Viscal, running now 5th in LMP2 Pro-Am. Then this fight for 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th, if you include Théo Pourchaire. And we're not catching too much of a glimpse of the Frenchman in the number 25. That's because he's behind the green and yellow car, just creeping through shot there out of turn 14. And sticking with this gang of cars.
Trouble!
Now, the AO by TF car is stranded. It's the 2nd place LMP2 Pro-Am car up on the curb on the inside of turn 10, Graham.
Now, was that a spin, or has that car stopped for another reason? The other car to watch here, by the way, It's a wee way down is the number 37 CLX Pure Racing car, Tom Blomqvist, because he has made his final stop. He's a minute and 10 seconds back. He's made a final stop. Now, I think that car's just ground to a halt. I don't think he spun it.
Conveniently on the curb, so maybe it had enough forward momentum to just position it in a slightly safer place, but it can't be left there. So is this going to be another full course yellow, which will potentially disrupt those with plans to pit in the next few laps? And if you do need fuel, now is the time to get in there before a full course yellow is announced.
Algarve Pro Racing move up to second in LMP2 Pro Am, 7th overall for Alex Quinn. So we way behind Thea Pourchaire in the other Algarve Pro car, though, for 6th place overall. TDS Racing's Matthias Besch moves into a podium contention. Ben Viscal is shortly going to move up to 4th with the AOPA TF car still stationary.
You're spot on.
Yellow. Cancel full course yellow. Cancel full course yellow. We cancel the full course yellow.
Got it moving. It's not up to speed, but he has got the car moving.
Full course yellow is cancelled.
Now, did everybody get the message about the cancellation? Because a time had been announced, and
very close to it.
Yeah, potentially you've got team managers, you've got race engineers counting already to prepare their drivers into the FCY, and it was cancelled at the last possible moment because Louis Delatraz did the old Control-Alt-Delete, the reset on the car. It fired sort of back into life at very slow speed, but at least it's in some kind of limp mode to get the car home again. Ben Hanley, predicting a full course yellow, was told to come in and pit, I reckon, in the 22 United Autosports car. But that's not quite played out that well. They needed fuel, clearly. They wouldn't have been able to make the finish, and I wonder whether some of the other LMP2 cars are in that boat.
That's a pass by the Ginetta.
Excellent.
The ultimate car for 5th place in LMP3.
The LMGT3 race leaders, with Michel Gatting and Daniel Serra having to deal with traffic. That's not overtaking cars, as now there's an issue that the Ginetta that's stopped.
It is the Ginetta that stops.
Just before turn 1, our graphics tower was just covering it, I'm afraid, but that is the Ginetta that we said we really hoped it might get to the end of a 4-hour race. There's still scope for it to do so, but that's now 2 cars that potentially need recovering. Although Pete Bedurani did a good job with the 47 to almost get it within the overlap of the barrier on the outside of turn 3, his 47 car.
The key there is, have they got a tow vehicle in position to be able to tow it without exposure? Is the Ginetta's position enough that we will go to some kind of intervention?
It's a virtual safety car.
Oh, good grief.
A virtual safety car to now deal with 2 stranded
20 seconds
cars.
to virtual safety car.
And I say that because that will definitely automatically be followed by a safety car
in 10.
There have been takers for pit stops under the virtual safety car, which is of course legal, but the GT cars do not want to pass up road position at this late stage. They don't need to either, so most have been fueled to the finish, although I noticed that the Charlie Eastwood Corvette for TF Sport has just been in and out, and Valentin Hasclot for Racing Spirit of Le Mans as well. Ginetta being recovered behind the overlap of the concrete wall down at turn 1. And that's again this neutralisation of the race, providing the safe opportunity to do that. We've now only 13 minutes of the race still to go. How many laps are we going to need behind this safety car? Jamie Chadwick can afford herself a smallish grin. It's getting broader, yeah, but this again is a relatively new scenario for Jamie. She has shared cars in the past, but obviously the last few years of her racing career have been dedicated to single-seaters, where it's been about setting the car up for her and only her, and more of the sprint type action, whereas now she's basically helpless. However, I mean, she was quick to praise Mathis Joubert's pace on, what was that, Thursday evening, saying he has been standout throughout the prologue.
Let's close all the gaps behind the leader. Let's close all the gaps behind the leaders.
Esteban Masson, Oliver Gray could barely watch. We were just standing there shaking their heads from the VDS Panis Racing Garage. The safety car's in. We're going for a green flag. There's over a lap time still on the clock. It's just under 2.5 minutes to go to decide this opening round of the 2025 European Le Mans Series season. We've got 5 more of these to enjoy, but who on earth is going to win each of the different categories? It's a cracking getaway from Mathis Joubert, and sensibly the car that's a lap down is getting well out of it. Gentlemanly driving there from Giotto in the number 34 into Europol. So we're now left with Joubert, who's streets ahead of Charles Milesi in second, Pietro Fittipaldi in third. The pressure being applied though by Mathieu Vaxivière in fourth position.
Fantastic stuff. EDEX Sport from VDS Panis Racing and Vector Sport, a very different 1, 2, 3. Mathieu Vaxivière putting the Vector Sport car under pressure for the final step on the overall podium. LMP3 CLX Motorsport still leading in RLR Motorsport. The Hind Dames still leading. Kessel Racing, minute and 25 seconds to go. It will go to another lap.
So how much pressure is Adrien Clomenil under from Julien Omrion? He too has got a good getaway in the CLX Motorsport LMP3 car. There's now almost some overlapping. Vaxivière leaving his braking very, very late to go around the outside of the number 10 of Pietro Fittipaldi.
That was the line from Joubert earlier, and it's worked for the number 83 car. Pietro Fittipaldi going to be looking to fight back. Under a minute on the clock.
Don't forget about the fresher tyres on Vaxivier's car though as well, so that will instantly make it slightly more manoeuvrable, and that's the thing that Charles Milesi does not have.
It could be on here for the 83 car, certainly looking as if he's got the potential to get to second.
How late does he leave this overtaking manoeuvre down into the braking area, and he's going to get the place on Charles Milesi, and that's the last thing that Mathis Joubert needed, because we've already seen the scrap between Vaxivière and the young 18-year-old from a fellow Frenchman. And they're going to go hammer and tongs towards the end here.
Debris at T3, debris at T3.
T3's not a worry for the race leader where the debris is, because they've already cleared that bit. Joubert doesn't have the pace.
It's on for Mathieu Vaxivière. Can Joubert soak it up?
Hugging the inside line at turn 5, but surely the drive off the corner is going to be better. Are they going to touch on the run down towards turn 5? This might be heartbreak for the 18 crew. They might not win the race overall, but they're still going to get the 25 points for the win in LMP2. But Vaxivière had a statement to make in his LMP2 Pro-Am car, and that crucial extra bit of the pit stop, it took them longer, but he'd got at least 2 fresher tyres, and 83 on course for an overall victory in the first race of the year.
Magnificent stuff from Mathieu Vaxivière. Great stuff from Joubert behind. He was helpless there against the car with the better grip. He just got better drive off the corner. Coming now for what will be a famous result, Johnny Palmer.
Well, it will take the record a little deeper into the archives. We almost had a female driver on an overall win in the European Le Mans Series, but it will go instead to the 83 crew of AF Corsa, Francois Perrodo, Alessia Rivera and Mathieu Vaxivière, but still maximum points for the 18 EDEX Sport crew of Jamie Chadwick, Mathis Joubert, the real star this weekend, and Danny Juncadella.
And it is CLX that take the win in LMP3, and it's going to be the Iron Dames. They're going to come back after disaster yesterday in the Michelin Le Mans Cup. A magnificent win for the Iron Dames. The 85 takes the win, and in the 57 Kessel Racing car and the 60 from Proton. CLX take LMP3 from RRM Sports and the Inter-Europol competition car. What a win, though, for the Iron Dames in GT3, and what a win for Mathieu Vaxivière and the AF Corsa squad in LMP2 Pro-Am and overall. There is the overall classification. The 83 car from AF Corsa, LMP2 Pro-Am and overall winner, 130 laps. The 18 EDEX Sports car, just 1.2 seconds back, taking the LMP2 class in second overall. VDS Panis Racing finished third and second in the LMP2. Vector Sport on the LMP2 podium, fourth overall. Algopro Racing's 20 and the 29 TDS racing car complete the podium in LMP2 Pro-Am. CLX Motorsport, RLR M Sports and Inter-Europol competition finish in close contention on the podium in LMP3, and the first race of the LMS of the new era of LMP3, and it's a famous win again by the Iron Dames. The 85 Porsche from Kessel Racing's 57 Ferrari and the 60 Porsche. And from there on in, there's the stories that will make the other leading paragraphs in all sorts of press releases later on.